Get on in here. Get on in here. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Get on in here. Comment, like, and share. Tag somebody. Tag somebody. How y'all doing this morning? How are y'all doing this morning? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Tune in, tune in. I'm gonna give it about one more minute and I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Said I'm gonna tell it everywhere I go. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How y'all doing this morning? How y'all doing this morning? Good morning. All right, I'm gonna get started. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. This is Motivated Mornings. I hope you get up and get motivated after hearing this. I got some comments. Let me see. What's the comments say? Good morning. Good morning. God bless you. Good morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hey, I wanted to talk to y'all about something this morning. Um, what I wanted to talk to y'all about is this: that you cannot, you cannot forget about you. Don't forget about you. Um, when we giving out and we making sure and we taking care of everybody else, especially those of us with a big heart, sometimes we tend to forget about ourselves. And in forgetting about ourselves, um, we do our own selves a disjustice. And so we cannot afford to uh, give up or forget about ourselves. Don't forget to choose you. When you're choosing everybody, don't forget to choose you. Don't try to go for everybody else. I know somebody once said, "Don't lose you trying to be for them. Don't lose you trying to be for them what they need you to be." Most times we get ourselves caught up in situations and circumstances where we forget about us, putting everything uh, else on the table, putting ourselves on the back burner. And what that does is that gets us in a position where we got to compromise certain things that we shouldn't have to compromise. Because if you're pouring out, just think of this: if you're pouring out and you're giving, those kind of things should be reciprocated. Nobody should be on one side only. And if you find yourself in a one side only situation, that situation is a situation based on use. You're being used because you're not getting what you need to get out of it. So don't forget to choose you. I know it's a thing like, you know, um, everybody, when you're in a position to look out for people and you're in a position where you take care of a lot of things, you might be um, sole breadwinner in your family, you might be, it doesn't matter whatever it may be, in whatever situation you're in, you got to make sure you don't forget about you. And sometimes we put um, ourselves to the back, thinking that it's gonna come, thinking that I gave out, I'm gonna receive, but sometimes you don't. But this time, I'm not even really talking about the giving and receiving. I'm really talking about just the perspective of taking care of you. Don't forget about you, because you're gonna need your rest. You're gonna need your time away. You're gonna need the me time, and so you got to make sure that you take care of you, because uh, chances are chances are you've overlooked you, and you've done that too many times. And so now you've created a pattern of overlooking you, putting you on the back burner, and you're running on E. You're running on E. You're running on fumes because you have just forgot to choose you. You forgot to make sure that you were straight, make sure that you had what you need. And it's important because how can you give out unless the tank is full? And so you got to be replenished. You got to make sure that you're taking the time to replenish yourself, replenish your faculties. Make sure that you got what you have and need of, because that's the thing that really matters. Because if you can't take care of you, then how can you take care of somebody else? Another thing I wrote down was quit being, when we were picking the team, when we're used to picking the team, like when it was back in the day, we would be outside. Kids don't be outside now; they be on tablets and phones. But we used to be outside, and we used to play all kind of games and kickball and all these games, basketball, everything we would play outside. You had to make the shot to be the captain. You had to make the shot first to be one of the first captains. And usually, when you're picking those players on the team, when you're thinking about picking the players on the team, you want to make the shot so you can pick the best team because you want to win. And just came to me last night that as a captain, picking the best team, best teammates, and best players. Sometimes you got to look in the mirror and pick that player first. Sometimes you got to look in the mirror and pick that player first. That's the best player you got on your team. And so if that's the best player you got on your team, you need to make sure that you take care of that person, get that person picked. Because in all actuality, when you're going through life and situations, sometimes they come one after the other. You don't have time to regroup before the next situation hits. You don't have time to regroup before the next problem occurs. You don't have time to regroup before the next confrontation comes. And so you got to make sure that you are in order so you can be able to handle all these things you got to handle. So that means taking time for you. That means getting proper rest. That means making sure that you are happy and secure and in peace and harmony. That means you got to do that for you. And sometimes it's not going to be done for you. Sometimes I know you feel like I've given out, so it should be given back. But sometimes it's not going to be done for you. But you got to still make sure that you take care of you so that you can be the best you. And that's for everybody. Everybody needs to hear that, because we do a lot of selfless things, and sometimes we need to be selfish enough to take care of us. If you keep selling and if you keep settling, you're suggesting to yourself that you are not worth it. We talked about yesterday, who determines your worth, and just capitalizing off of that. After that you got to determine your worth. And how do you determine your worth? You got to stand on your prices. You got to stand on your prices. If you got good product, you can stand on your prices. And you know how good of a person you are. You know how valuable a person you are. So you need to stand on your prices. You need to make sure that people respect you at that level, and then take care of you. Don't forget about you, because ultimately it's going to be you that supplies. Ultimately it's going to be you that gives again, and you to take care of it again. So guess what? You got to make sure you're in order. Don't forget about you. Don't forget about you. I know it's a lot of things on your plate, but make sure one of those things on your plate of a priority is you. Because if you don't take care of you, those situations, those problems, they're going to continue after you long gone. They're going to continue after you long gone. And if you don't take care of you, you're going to be long gone. You're going to be long gone. You cannot afford to just keep going at the same pace you're going, at the same rate you're going, and then still negate you. How can you do that? You're doing yourself a disservice. And it's time, this 2023, if you making everybody else happy, it's time to get happy. It's time to get happy. Ain't no time to be playing around with it. Ain't no time to be saying, okay, this is that and that. If I'm taking care of all that, I'm going to take care of me. If I'm making sure those things are set in order, I'm going to make sure I'm set in order. If I'm making sure that place is happy, I'm going to make sure I'm happy, because that's what has to happen. That's what has to happen. Because if I don't, what happens is I'm going to decrease, 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 decrease. And by the time you finally realize that you got to take you into consideration, you got to make sure you don't forget about you. You have done all the exhausting of your efforts. You have done all the exhausting of your energy, and you don't have any time for you. And you feel like, well, they should have took care of me like I took care of them. Well, the problem is we want to see our heart in everybody else. We put our heart in everybody else. They ain't got the same heart you got. And you can't be dependent on that anyway. Make sure you take care of you. Make sure that you make sure you got everything you need. Why? Because if not, then you're gonna dwindle. You're gonna fade away. And like I said, those problems still gonna be there. Them people still gonna be there. That situation still gonna be there. So make sure when you doing all that and you picking the team and the captain and all that, make sure that you pick right. Make sure that you pick right. Make sure that you pick. I'm sorry about that. Audio and everything went away. But yeah, make sure that you pick right. Make sure you choose you, because you can't afford. You can't afford. And then some of us have people that are dependent on us. We got seed that we got to live for. We got other things that we got to live for. And so, in order for those things to be maintained and those things to be straight, and have that same consistency, same security that's dependent on you, then you really got to look out for you. You really got to look out for you. You're worth it. You're worth it. We talked about that yesterday. You're worth it. You are worth it. So stand on them prices. If they cannot accept your prices, then they aren't the customers for you. I'm not talking about you selling a product. I'm talking about there's certain things that you should just stand for, and some things that you just should not accept. Certain things you should stand on, and some things you should not accept. And if you accept them, what you're doing is not only are you telling them that you are not worth more, you're telling yourself that you are not worth more. And if you are not worth more, if you're telling yourself that you're not worth more, you're not going to stand on those prices. You're going to keep accepting less than worth your worth. You're going to keep doing less than worth your worth. And that's going to become a cycle for you. And now you're going to see yourself in that cycle again and again and again. But when you make up in your mind that you're no longer going to let somebody come to you, present to you something that's lower than what you're worth, and you stand on it, everybody else that comes behind them got to know, hey, she stands on her prices. He stands on his prices. Why? Because I'm worth that. I ain't shucking and jiving. I'm a very valuable person. And so you got to value me in order for me to give you the value. You know what Wendy's feels about their burger? They feel like it's $10 plus for that combo. And if you don't pay the $10 plus for the combo, you don't get the combo. That same method has to apply to you. If somebody doesn't come with the value that you are, then they don't get that. They don't get you. Quit making yourself available to people that can't even afford you, can't even reciprocate the same behaviors you give out, can't even love you the same way. And these are things that you don't have to wait 7 years for. If somebody truly values and appreciates you, you're gonna know that day one. You ain't gotta wait 10 years. because it don't take that 10 years for me. If I have submitted myself to a commitment to taking care of you, or we're in a business relationship, or we're in a friendship, or any relationship that I'm in, you're going to know I love you. You're going to know I appreciate you from day one. So if I can give out that from day one, I for sure can receive that from day one. And I'm not accepting anything less than that. Some people are wondering how you change, and all these different things. And you need to tell them, I change in this way, that I no longer accept less than what I'm worth. And not only that, I'm going to choose me. While I'm choosing everybody else, while I'm choosing everything else, I'm not going to forget about me. I hope this bless you. I hope it encouraged you. I hope it did. Make sure that if it has, share with somebody else. Do me a favor, share with somebody else. Somebody else needs to hear it, because somebody else is accepting less than what they're worth, and they need to quit that. Quit skipping over them. Quit when they're picking the team. Quit picking everybody but you. You make that team run. You need to not forget about you. I hope it bless you. Good morning. This is Motivated Mornings. Catch y'all tomorrow, 7 a.m. Appreciate you. Thank you. Love you. Bye.